on both Eureka and Warehouse 13. And so here I am to welcome you to the Warehouse 13 panel. All right, so our first guest is the executive producer, the doler outer of jokes and adventure, Mr. Jack Kenny. And then we have everyone's favorite fiery-haired hacker and kind of my favorite person ever. She plays Claudia Donovan. It's Allison Scott. And then, he'd be like your dad, if your dad was super awesome and cool and curmudgeonly and stuff. It's Saul Rubinek, he plays Artie Nielsen. And he's not just another meat puppet, he's a really nice guy. He plays, oh wait, wrong person. It's a she, and she's awesome, a fellow Canadian and super cool girl. She plays Michael Baring, it's Joanne Kelly. And yes, the not just a meat puppet, but a very awesome dude. He plays Pete Latimer, it's Eddie McClintock. Here goes again. I think so. I don't know. Warehouse 13, Sci-Fi Science Show. I gotta get back into the cardio. Yeah, okay, so Warehouse 13 Season 3 is coming back, and we have a little trailer for you guys. Okay, well, yeah, that's a lot of stuff happening. So this season, at the beginning of it, there's basically a couple big things happened. I mean, at the end of last season, Micah quit. Joanne, do you want to talk a little about that? What it was like having a character quit and then come back?
I have to talk first?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of knew I was coming back. Jack made it clear, so I knew I had a job, and she would be back next year, which is really nice for me. But I think last year was an emotional year for her. I think you saw, in the pilot we start with this kind of isolated, lonely, I think all of our characters, kind of friendless, and you see this family kind of gradually form, and with HG kind of betraying me last year and leaving, I think you're going to see this season me slowly kind of working my way back in and figuring out this new idea of my What's happening? What's happening?
Special.
This is exactly what a day on set looks like. and with his phone out.
When people ask me what I do, I tell them I run a daycare center.
You would be right.
Well, actually, that kind of goes to Eddie. How did Micah resigning impact the relationship between Pete and Micah?
Well, I think that if you've seen the first episode of this year, first of all, hi guys. Can I just say what an insane rush it is to look out and see you guys here who appreciate. I mean, like, guys, this is insane. So thank you so much. This is my dreams come true. Love you too. Thank you. Pete and Micah are like brother sister, so it would be the same as if your sister that you love picked up and left without saying goodbye. And so
I wrote you a note.
yeah,
It also sort of ushered in the new guy, Steve Jinks. Jack, how did that come about? And yeah, Steve Jinks.
Well, we knew we needed to replace Micah, and we didn't want everybody to just immediately assume she'd be back, so wanted to come up with a new dynamic, a new energy into the warehouse, and it was in casting development because it was really right up to the wire. Literally, like 2 days before the table reading of the first episode, we found Aaron, and Aaron has a fan. No, he's fantastic. He's the nicest guy in the world. We are all madly in love with Aaron.
Save it. I have to gush about it.
Okay, sorry. He's all right. Anyway, so Aaron got it. Aaron just came in and we met, and he seemed like the guy. And the great thing about Aaron is he's got a different energy than everybody else, and he's very emotionally conservative. He's very, plays cards close to the vest. So he's really funny up against Eddie and Claudia both, Pete and Claudia both, because they both are very much out there. So it was just nice to expand our family a little bit and see where that would take everybody. And I think it took all the characters into a really cool place too. It's always nice to have somebody new to explain things to, because then it's an easy way to get our exposition, so Saul doesn't have to do it all.
Facting.
Yeah, Saul calls it facting.
Yeah, can you guys run us through the different types of acting? Is there schmacting?
Schmacting is when we're in front of a green screen. Acting, well, we all know what acting is.
Yeah.
And there's facting, which is facting is exposition. Those are the three.
Those are the three. In Eureka, we also have acting. That's where you have to react to things, but completely.
Oh, backing, so you can put lines in post.
Yeah.
We can add lines in post.
There's a lot of, anyway, so Allison, you have, it seems like you and your character and Steve Jinks have a lot of scenes together. What's that like?
Yes. First of all, the relationship between Steve and Claudia, just by show of great big applause, how many people have seen the first 2 episodes of season 3? Pretty good numbers. So Steve is the first person in the warehouse who can be a sort of peer to Claudia. After searching for her brother for 12 years and then losing him to CERN, Claudia's kind of isolated in terms of her age group, and I talked about this a little bit on her universe panel yesterday. To be this age and to be growing up and defining yourself within the context of your group is a very important time, and so Steve definitely plays into Claudia's evolution, coming into her own as a warehouse agent. And the great thing about Aaron is that he's adept at all 3 modes of acting necessary to be part of Warehouse 13. He can act, he can schmack, and he can fact. And he's hilarious and just a wonderful presence on set. And I found immediately that he and I are wired the same. When we come to work, we know our lines and we just want to have fun and find out what, the different flavors that we can add. So the way the relationship develops is very complex, and what happens toward the end of the season, which I can't tell you anything about, is mind-blowing. So stay tuned.
So Eddie and Joanne, how do your characters deal with the fact that there's now 2 new agents? Because I'm correct on that, right? Claudia's now an agent?
I like to think so. Jack.
it's great because we don't work as many hours and we get paid the same amount. Is that the wrong answer?
What's great about Aaron, if I may, is that, one of the great things about our set is that there's not any competition. People are there to complement each other, and he came on board, and it was never competitive. It was almost as seamless as when we introduced Allison. Like it worked right from the get-go. And honestly, I'm really excited because he's a really great actor and he does some really great stuff
It
this year.
speaks also, I have to say, to the generosity of this cast, because in the same way that the 3 of you enfolded Allison into the family, the 4 of you have enfolded Aaron into the family, and it feels like he was always there.
Yes.
There's no element of, oh, who's this new guy, even though it's called the new guy. That's what I love about working with these guys and really everybody in Toronto, that we're here and you guys applaud the actors and that's great, and they are, but I also want to take a moment to say that there's a crew that sweats it out in Toronto, 16 hours a day, 5 days a week. They break their backs. We have a genius design team and production team, Franco Dakotas and Paris Burrell and Joanne Hansen, and just this brilliant group of artists who create the look of this show. All the stuff. I mean, this thing is phenomenal.
Careful where you point that.
I mean, it's no spoilers.
Are you going to give that to somebody in the audience, Jack?
No. It's mine. It doesn't work anyway. But you can buy it.
Jack threatens to Tesla us if we don't do his lines correctly. We always say his lines the way he wants us.
That's not true. That's not true. We are a very collaborative set.
Oh yeah, we change stuff up. We come up with stuff on the set. It's one of the joys of actually being up there with these overly talented, brilliantly.
Monkeys.
I can't go on. I'm overwhelmed when I think of how lucky I am to be able to work with this kind of talent on a daily basis, and that we have so much fun. It really isn't. It's almost like stealing money because we have so much fun.
Let me tell you what's really amazing about the show is that here's where we're lucky. I have friends who are on different series, and they ask me about my show, and then they're really envious. And what they're envious about, yes, we all get along, and yes, we all laugh all day long, and we have a great time. We're proud of our show. But one of the things that we have is we have Jack 90% of the time with us on the set at the same time as he's got to get notes from the network in the studio, and he's the dad to the writer's room. And it's rare for a show to have a showrunner right there, because we're shooting in Toronto, the writer's room is in Los Angeles. That means that he can see what's working for us right away. He knows us really well, like where his brethren and his kids in a way. He knows that it's not, whatever they wrote may not work right away, and it's got to change up. And he can change it on the spot. We trust each other. And we needed an actor, if we were going to get a new guy, we needed an actor to be deft, because what they throw at us as writers is why we can't just coast. Because we are going to change it up from line to line. Of course it changes. You know the show. It changes from episode to episode. But not only does it change that way, it changes from scene to scene and from line to line. We don't always take ourselves seriously. One moment, the next moment there's a tragedy or a thrilling moment or a very tense moment going on or a very sentimental, emotional moment. And we needed an actor who was going to be deft. And so we're lucky that we got Aaron, but we're mostly lucky that we have this guy, this maniac at the end of the table.
And I'm blessed with the best writing staff I have ever worked with.
I think you're.
Drew Greenberg, there are a lot of them here. Drew Greenberg, Nell Stovell, Andrew Kreisberg, Bob Goodman, Holly Harrell, Ian Stokes, Ben Grad, Derek Hughes, J.P. Nichol, Mike Johnson, Ian Maddox, They're somewhere, and they are genius. And they're the reason you see, we will do a different episode for you every week. Every episode this season has an entirely different tone, and that's because of these guys and our production staff and our writers. And that's one of the things we love to do for you guys is we want to give you something different every week. And I think this year, more than any other year, you're going to see an entirely different episode of Warehouse 13 every week.
Yeah.
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 It's crazy.
And the writers come up for every show that they write. They're on set with us, and that just raises the bar for the whole series. It's an amazing thing for a studio and network to pay for. It doesn't happen on every show. It's great for us, it's great for them, and mostly, I hope it's great for you.
And so this is, I guess this kind of is an open question for all you guys. And what are each of your favorite episodes of this new year? Can you tell these guys a little bit about that?
My favorite episode is the one that you're in, Neil.
There's mine too, because it's all we can say is that it's
Because I'm in it, right? I know. This is
Yeah, you can say
it's inside
it's inside a video game.
It's inside a video game, so I get to play a Monty Python kind of version of Artie, and
You saw some of it on the reel. Some of the stuff that looks
Yeah.
animated is
Yeah.
Keyframe did that brilliant VFX company.
yeah,
We had to play a gladiator, so my pink Irish nipples will be across your television screen.
I knew his body parts would come out sometimes.
I actually just
You
won
would care.
$50. Eddie said nipples on the panel. Pay up, Patrick.
There it is.
Eddie, your nipples are shining.
I just remember taking a lot of pictures of your outfit, Allison.
Oh, come on.
What? Really?
Which
You
one?
In that
You
episode?
talking about
The second one.
The second
Both of
one?
them.
We can't. Let's not spoil the second
No,
one.
we will not spoil the second one, but it's pretty awesome, guys.
This in one episode, I get to basically be 5 different characters. It's amazing. It's different iterations of Claudia, and that's the episode where I get to actually sing and play guitar on the show for the first time.
No spoilers.
I mean, it's great to be able to be on a show where you can have an episode like Trials, which was last week's episode, where Joanne was so insanely fantastic, and everybody, I mean everybody, but it was such a great episode for Joanne, and to have such gravity in the acting and have it be so serious, and then to do in the same series be able to do a show like Don't Hate the Player, which is
The
the
video game.
video game episode where we are just having an insane good time the whole time,
And it
that's
speaks,
what it's for.
it speaks to you guys, the variety of talents sitting to my left here. And Neil, I'll let you with that.
Yeah, you too, Neil.
Yeah, you too, Neil. Because you guys can handle it all. We do these intense, heavy-duty emotional scenes. We do these big, broad comedic scenes. There's a scene of farce happening, and we call it a fridge farce. We run the gamut, and every group of actors can't do that. I mean, we just did a Christmas episode where I swear to God, Joanne reminded me of Lucille Ball in some of the work she was doing. It's just great, and anyway, blah blah. I'm embarrassed now.
No, we're really proud of the show. That's why we gush. I mean, it's really easy for us in a way to come on a panel. We're not, kind of, It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah.
I can't believe there's so many people here. It's crazy. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming.
I mean, I remember our first year, 2 years ago, our panel, there were 3 bums and 2 girls that thought it was the Eureka panel. They were like, what? Who are they?
And one was my agent.
And to be here is spectacular. I can't
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
grateful.
We can't thank you enough, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Well, honestly, we think of the fans a lot. We talk about the fans a lot. We talk about, in the writer's room we talk about it. We just say, the fans will love this. This is something the fans will eat up. Let's do this for the fans and that and that. We put in little Easter eggs throughout every episode. Christmas is filled with little fan treats that you guys will hopefully see if you've been watching the series. But we really do think all the time about what we can do to make you guys happy. So the fact that that this is such a big crowd and you're so enthusiastic really means a lot to the writing staff, which is standing here somewhere, and all of us as well.
Well, there aren't too many shows that, I'm a dad, I have kids, and I don't think that there are that many shows, unless, you're watching American Idol as a family, there aren't too many shows that are hour-long shows that you can watch with your family. Don't you guys watch this with the family? I think it's that kind of show. I'm proud of it for that reason.
Well, when I was growing up, one of the things that my dad and I did as a huge bond that bonded us together was going to see movies or watching TV and then saying the lines to one another. Like I would go into character and say the lines, and it's kind of a guy thing, to do lines from movies that you love. And I had some guy and his kid came up to me, and the guy said, "My son and I love doing Pete's lines to one another," and it just like. That's what it's, to me, that's...
Girls do that too.
They do?
Yeah. Not just boys. Just so, FYI.
I've had a similar experience to that, Eddie. It's amazing. For me, it's when moms reach out to me on Twitter and say that, hey, my 9-year-old daughter just idolizes you because you and the other women on Warehouse 13 make it cool to be smart. Or to be... Especially yesterday. I hope Alexis C. Hennessy is here from her Universe panel yesterday. The tiniest, most precocious little girl I've ever seen came up and thanked us for presenting women in such a positive, powerful way, and I almost wept. It was amazing and flattering, and it's an honor to be on a show that empowers us in such a way.
We're making this too easy for Neil.
We are.
I'm just crossing them off. I've got all these questions here.
Yeah, way to stick to the script, Neil.
That one. Great, continue.
We're together this year. Your show and our show. We're like
Yeah,
brother and
we're
sister.
powerful
with
Mondays.
outlets. Yeah.
How
I
fantastic
think
is
that's
that?
great. Yeah.
Get all your stuff in one day.
Yeah.
And actually, though, that's another. Okay, here's a question that needed to be known. So, you know, I'm guest starring on an episode, and we've got a lot of awesome people on that one. What other guest stars do you have this year that people might get like kind of excited about?
We have a Star Trek captain on our show this year.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yes.
Kate Mulgrew.
Kate Mulgrew.
4 episodes of Kate Mulgrew, one of the most insanely awesome people that I've ever met.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun to watch her work and to be around her.
We can't tell you how she connects to the show because we'd be giving away something really cool that happens.
You know,
But she was awesome. She's a wonderful actor, and she's.
we've had a really lucky year with, I mean, we've had, everybody who's shown up has been, Sasha Royce has been great,
Always, yeah.
Alessandra Torsani,
Anyone who watches
Jerry
Walking
Ryan.
Dead
Jerry
can look
Ryan.
forward to Steve Young, who plays Glenn on Walking Dead.
Lindsay Wagner's back this
Renee
Monday,
Auberjonois.
Renee's back this Monday.
Roger Reese came back.
Roger.
I mean, we've had wonderful.
Jamie Murray.
Yeah, Jamie Murray. We've had great guest stars.
When Jerry Ryan
Jerry Ryan,
walked into our
Jerry
table
Ryan's
meeting,
on
and I
in 2
just
weeks.
said, hello and thank you. My stud cred is about to increase about 76% now that you're on the show. Because she's like so insanely hot and Pete, and thank you, Jack.
It's so funny, I'm listening to them sort of stumbling, not knowing what they can say about the characters and what they can't say. Like, and she's playing a person on the show who's gonna be there, and she'll be there too. And then we have Stu, and he's gonna be a thing on the show because we can't say anything. 'Cause we don't want to ruin it for you. We want you to be surprised and enjoy. So you know.
And the Christmas episode, Jack directed the Christmas episode this year. I have to say, it's probably one of the most fun episodes that we've done in 3 years.
Written by J.P. Nickel and Mike Johnson, our writer assistants.
And that tells you, he just told you something very quickly about the kind of guy he is and the kind of show we are. That was written by our writing assistants, he said, which writing assistants who moved up from being PAs to writing assistants and who wrote our show, our Christmas show. And that tells you a lot about the loyalty that he's got for the guys in the room and why they love doing the show for Jack.
They paid me. No, it was a good show.
We actually all hate each other.
Neil?
Right, yeah, so I guess we can start opening it up to questions from fans.
Right before you do, I left out one group, and I'm sorry, I just didn't mention, they never get mentioned. And that's our studio and our network. And because they're the guys who give us the notes. You know, they give us the notes, and they have the hard job. And I gotta say, we have the best I've ever worked with. Again, I don't say that a lot, but it really is. Maybe I'm just getting old. But Mark Stern, Eric Story, Scott Vila, Chris Senegustin, and Tom Lieber are superstars. And we're really lucky to have them working with us on this show. And I love them all dearly.
All right, and so I've just got one more here. This is just going back to Steve Jinks. This is kind of the first time there's been, or no, it's not the first time, but he's an openly gay character, but it doesn't seem to affect anything. Like, can you tell us why you chose to put him in that way? Because it just does not seem.
That's an unusual phrase to it's not. It's just a question of the diversity, keeping the world as diverse as the world is. Steve Jinks is a gay character, but it really doesn't play into any storylines. He's just gay. I don't know if it's come out in any perfect. I'm just gay, so it's like I don't make a big thing out of it. It's just it's just who he is. It's like, you know, we don't make anything out of Mrs. Frederick being black. We don't make anything out of any character's particular, you know, personal traits. It's just who they are. So and I think that's kind of the way the world is turning into, and isn't that nice? You know, let's keep going that
How brilliant was the line about
What?
when Pete put on Abe Lincoln's hat and had an urge to free Mrs. Frederick? I mean,
that was a historical reference.
I mean, the
And freeing Lena wasn't as funny.
I mean, but how bold and brilliant of a without offending. Just again, Jack gives us these pieces of gold, and then we get to dole them out to you guys.
And you guys take that gold and wear it like kings. You really do.
My grills, I got some grill. I got a grill.
You didn't say that.
I get a grill.
I got grills or a grill. Moving on.
All right. So we got a question down there. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Alyssa.
Where are you?
Where are you?
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Ooh, nice hat.
Thank you. I like Eddie's hat too. So my question is for Jack, actually. How does Jenks know when people are lying? Like, how does that work? Is he
Well-
telepathic?
Well, what Aaron and I have talked about is that there's something he sees in their eyes. And maybe it's a vein that pulses that he can see that other people can't. It's almost like he's able to sense an increase. You know how a lie detector will increase in heart rate? He's able to sense that in somebody's eyes. We tried to show that when Steve Surgic, I didn't mention our directors, Steve Surgic, Chris Fisher, brilliant directors. We tried to do those inserts of their eyes in that first episode so that we get the sense that Aaron's looking at their eyes to be able to tell what's going on. So that's sort of what Aaron and I have talked about. We never really want to be specific about it. Sort of like we never want to say exactly how Mrs. Frederick can sneak into a room. Someday we will, but not yet. Or how Artie gets things out of his
Mary
bag.
Poppins bag. Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next question.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Elizabeth,
Hi.
and you shouldn't be surprised that all these people are here because we do love you. But my question is, if each of you had your own artifact, what would it be and what would it do?
It would measure the true size of our audience rather than what the Nielsen ratings say. Because I can tell you that over the years, I mean, people bump into me and they recognize me either from Frasier or for whatever I've done in the past, Unforgiven or different movies, but now it's all Warehouse 13 and all ages, and I look at the numbers and I say, they're not counting a lot of people somehow. How many of you are watching the show not on television, but on your computers? In college, my daughter's in college, there is no one in her college who watches TV. They watch everything on the internet, everything. So there are millions of people who watch this in a different way.
I haven't watched the show when it's on since Mork and Mindy.
Well, and when they're watching it on the internet, they're getting the advertisers. So I'd love that artifact. I would really like that artifact.
The one I want grows hair.
I'm not specific about mine, but it's definitely food related.
I want a guitar that whenever I pick it up, it just guides my hand and I can play whatever I want.
Mine would be
There are people that
a
are
thing,
eating
a thing that says, "No, I'm not David Boreanaz," before the person would have the chance to ask the question. They'd be getting ready to say, and they would say, "No, I'm not David Boreanaz."
Hey, yes, I will take this picture.
I want one that turns me into David Boreanaz.
I had before David Boreanaz became David Boreanaz, there was a guy by the name of Craig Sheffer who was on a movie called A River Runs Through It. And people used to come up to me and go, "Wow, you look a lot like Craig Sheffer." And then Craig kind of went away, and I was in an audition, and somebody came up to me, he's like, "Hey, Craig," and he goes, "Oh, I thought you were Craig Sheffer." And I was like, "Oh, no, but I hear that a lot." And then he's like, "He's here." So he went away and he brought Craig over and he goes, Craig, look at this guy. He looks just like me. He's like, oh my God, you're so handsome. You're handsome too. And I said, but you know who's really handsome is David Boreanaz. So then I went and did a 4-episode arc on Bones, and when I met David Boreanaz, he looked at me and he goes, hey man, you know who you look like? And I go, yes. He goes, Craig Shepard. So it's like, hey, I'm going to write a book called Living in the Shadow of Boreanaz. But,
I wish you would learn your lines as well. You learned that speech.
Thank you, sir.
That was really well told.
Yeah, thank you. It hurts me.
I think she had a question, I don't remember.
Yes.
Our favorite.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I really loved the character of H.G. Wells, and I had heard a rumor that maybe there was going to be a Warehouse 12 H.G. spin-off, and I don't know.
You know, I've heard that rumor too. We are in the very early planning stages of that. Bob Goodman, one of the writers on our show, and I are writing a script together, and we have gotten Sci-Fi interested in the notion, and we're at a very, very early stage. I mean, we're just sort of figuring out who's going to be in it, where it's going to take place, and though I'm hesitant to say anything about it because those things change so many times between this stage and shooting the pilot that who knows what it's going to be. But yes, there is. We all like the character very much, and we want to keep that character alive, and so yeah, it's in the offing. That's all I can say. It's in the offing.
Hello, this is a question for Allison. I love how your character repurposes items in the warehouse for other uses, like the snow globe for various things. But I know that overuse of the artifacts can turn people evil or corrupt them. Do you worry that's going to happen to your character?
I think any opportunity for Claudia to be corrupted or seriously emotionally affected would have to do with something that happens with a relationship between her and one of the other people in the warehouse, whether that's with Artie or with Steve Jenks or with one of our main agents. In terms of the tools and the gack that she makes, I think she's learned her lesson mostly in season 1, getting magnetized to the roof of the warehouse. Artifacts in general need to not be messed with. It's usually rewiring and taking like that old Bell and Howell film projector and making it into a 3D projector, things like that. But I would actually really like to see what happens if Claudia went on Dark Willow.
Awesome shirt.
Where did you get that shirt, Eddie?
www.eddiemcclintock.com. Buy now. Sunday.
Hi.
Hi, my name is San, and I was wondering when NBC Universal will have the Man Raised Camera Artifact T-shirt. There's lots of Claudia stuff, no Micah stuff. What's up with that?
Gee, thanks,
I think last time I heard, because we did those for the Christmas episode last year. We made those T-shirts, and my nephew went on the site and was able to buy one with a different artifact, but I'm not sure. You can't get man rays, huh? I'll talk to them. I know some people. I'll talk to them. A little bit more Micah swag. I get it. Micah. I'm sure they're here somewhere. They're listening. They're hearing. Let's get with it. Micah, man. Thank you. Your name is Sin? S-I-N? Oh. Hi, Sin.
Hello, I'm Mia. I wanted to know if there are going to be episodes about Miss Fredrickson and her background and what she actually is. I'm sure never ages.
No, I told Mia.
Is it Mia?
Mia. We pitched an episode this year that was going to be the Christmas episode, it wasn't working out as a Christmas episode where we learn a lot more about Mrs. Frederick and perhaps even find Mr. Frederick. And so we are. My goal is to try to do an episode next year that digs more heavily into that. The danger is Mrs. Frederick is so cool, and the reason she's so cool is because you don't know a lot about her and you don't see her very much. And when you get to learn too much about a character, they lose that sense of mystery and danger. So I always want to be careful. I don't know if we ever will explain how Mrs. Frederick can enter a room the way she does. I don't know, but I do want to learn more about her past because I think it's important for the character development. And so I would say yes, next year we will learn more about Mrs. Frederick and who she is and where she came from.
That's what happened to me and my wife in our marriage. The more she knew about me, the less mysterious and dangerous I was. So we're going to keep it under wraps, is all I'm saying.
She's here tonight. You know she's in the room.
She's out there somewhere. Poor woman.
Oh, you are mysterious.
We have another question.
I am a Mad Magazine -4 pages.
Hi, I have a question for Allison. When you were younger, were you on Drake and Josh?
Yes.
You look really familiar, so I was just wondering.
I mean, IMDb is usually a good source for a question like that, but yes, that's me, and thank you for double checking.
Blessings. When I was younger, I was on Vicodin.
You heard him give another question?
Hi, I was wondering if you were to get a tattoo of one of the props or a character of Warehouse 13, what would it be?
You're absolutely right.
Very, very careful.
Actually, look, one of the props.
This question is for me, or is for all of us?
Oh,
For everyone.
Eddie knows the other way.
Well, I have, I think somewhere in the warehouse is a taxidermied great white shark. Actually, it's Bruce from the movie Jaws is in the warehouse. No one knows that, but the original Bruce is in the warehouse. And I would get a Bruce tattoo because
I've been trying to talk him out of this for like 4 months now. So thank you for this question.
I set it all up on Photoshop and get rid of my mail.
Saul?
Well, since you can't be buried in a Jewish graveyard with a tattoo, mine would say, I guess you're no longer Jewish.
Are you Jewish? So, are you Jewish?
No, I just look Jewish. My name is actually Jim Scott. I changed it. Born Jim Scott. I figured I wouldn't work unless my name was Saul Rubinek. Since I looked like this, then I could get work.
I've been threatening. I want to meet your great grandfather in the H.G. Wells series, Shlomo Weisfeld.
The tattoo I want will then say Shlomo Weisfeld.
There you go. Who what? Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
I see us in that tattoo.
I would have one that has an expiration date, I guess.
This is
This is exactly like the set.
exactly like this. You guys are getting a true behind the scenes. This is the banter that fills 18 hours of my day.
Poor Joanne.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for all the fun you have out there when you're doing the show. I enjoy watching it a lot. But kind of putting you here, if you all had to find an artifact at Comic-Con, what would it be and what powers would it have?
I would have the best
Freeze.
costume. Definitely.
I would have an artifact that maybe would have some individuals put more clothes on.
Mine would involve some kind of wormhole technology that would allow me to get to all the booths that I want to see in time and not in the crowds. And then share them with you guys, because I imagine what you guys are doing too.
I would want to see behind those masks. You know, all the Stormtrooper masks. Who's in there? That's what I want to know.
They're all Cylons is the secret.
Okay?
Well, no, but I don't have my glasses on, so I can see anything. But here I can see it, actually. Yeah. Anyway. Hi.
Hi, my name is Cha. I was just wondering, because Joanne mentioned the subtext between HG and Micah in the Reset commentary. I was wondering if maybe if the writers wrote that in, because there's also there's a lot with the subtext.
What kind of subtext?
PLT. Talking about PLT.
Lebesian.
Pre-lesbian tension.
I mean, she's a beautiful woman, right?
And there's two beautiful women. And when there's two beautiful women, there's bound to be electricity. And also, you guys get along so well.
Well, you know, and I think Jamie's such a good actress, and I have so much fun with her, and I think it was one of the things that we talked about, how to make the dynamic interesting and different. And so we fell in love a little bit.
You know, it's actually all part of what we were talking about before, about just saying that, you know, the world is becoming a better, easier, more accepting and loving place. And I think it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, we're not saying that they're going to have a relationship, but it's nice to see women relating to each other on a level that is not competitive, that is not attacking each other, that is supportive and loving and caring. I mean, isn't that, there's plenty of the other stuff on other shows. This is about two women who actually care about each other. And they don't have
Fighting
to...
over boys, they're getting worked up.
Right, they're getting worked on. And, you know, I make the PLT joke, it's kind of an inside joke that we make, but it really is about two women who are, I mean, they have a couple of wonderful moments, and it is really based on two characters that care a great deal about each other, because they are very much alike in a lot of ways, and I think that's what makes them interesting to watch.
Yeah, and on my Twitter feed, I posted a picture with the caption, "Is that an artifact in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" And it's a picture of Joanne and Jamie laying together on the floor. If you guys have seen it, if not, I'll have to repost it so you can check it out.
FYI, Eddie, I would be willing to bet 99% of the people in this room do follow you on Twitter.
And if they didn't, they will now. There's a man with a fez who has a question.
My favorite artifact is the lamp. You know, with the the wish.
It's okay, take a breath, just take a breath.
You know, if you don't, this doesn't grant the wish you want, you get a ferret. What's your favorite artifact?
It was a kettle, right? In the pilot.
Yeah. What's your favorite episode, not including the Tesla?
I'm sorry, what did you say before not including it?
Not including the Tesla.
Oh, you like the Tesla?
Not including it.
Oh, okay. What was your question about it, though? Are you gonna...
What was your favorite artifact from the whole episodes?
Oh, my favorite.
I would have, mine was a Studio 54 disco ball. I still love that. I still love that artifact.
I love Redicus's Compass, and I'll tell you why. Because it was our first season, and I got to see how brilliant the props department and the whole art department was. And there are a lot of praises that are sung about writing the cast and all of that stuff, but the unsung heroes of Warehouse 13 is the design department. You know, they are amazing. It really is the best design team I've ever worked with in my whole career. And what they are able to do on our budget is extraordinary. They are dedicated, detail-oriented, wildly imaginative. And that prop, remember that prop? It was supposed to look like the Renaissance, and it looked like it was made of brass and
It was made of real brass and copper fittings.
It was really heavy. I remember it was really heavy.
It was a $12,000 prop.
$12,000 prop.
Did we open it?
Well, we also,
in the episode?
this year we made a golden beehive from Warehouse 2. And as you know, the artifacts that come from Warehouse 2, I think that's my favorite this year is this amazing beehive etched with Egyptian drawings on it, and it opens and it's
It's like being a camping on a set, really. It's really fun looking at all these things. That's
Well, you love the Tesla. No. Can I have your house? No.
Tell them where to get it.
Oh, I think our licensee is called QMX, Quantum Mechanics. They make Teslas and Farnsworths that you can buy online. This actually belongs to them. That's why I can't give it away. It's a loan.
It's shinier than ours.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna start using
Nicer.
theirs, probably.
Yeah.
We use it. They make such great props. Our props misters have started to use their Teslas and Farnsworths because we tend to beat ours up on the
Ours fall
show.
apart, yeah.
Ours get thrown around and broken and smashed, and you know.
And they're
They make
Farnsworth
they make such
great.
authentic looking props. Amazing.
Yeah.
This actually works. I can shoot you. Sure. There's a lady with a question.
Hi.
I really enjoyed the crossover.
Awesome costume, by the way.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the crossover with the Eureka show, and I wondered if you were planning another crossover with Eureka or something else.
Are we?
Are we?
Yes, episode 5. I believe it's called Don't Hate the Player. I believe it's episode 5.
Is it episode 5? You filmed it really early. Like,
We filmed it early, but that was because of weather.
Fargo,
Is it 6? All right, they tell me it's 6. 5 or 6. You watch them. But Neil will be coming to join us for a very special.
Yes, I will be
process.
returning. Unfortunately, we don't have Claudia coming back to Eureka just because of the way that we film. Everything that's airing right now was filmed last year for us, whereas their episodes were filmed this year. So
We just finished 2 nights ago when we got on a plane and came here. Good job, Neil. Season 3. Yeah. Neil, may I add, you've incorporated another redhead into your show.
yeah, I seem to be just hopping around the redheads. I don't know.
Fargo has a tiny.
What? That would be Felicia Day. Felicia Day is. All right, so I guess we got time for like 2 more questions. Yeah.
All right, my question is, are we going to be seeing any of the other past warehouses other than Warehouse 2?
This season we will see a little bit of Warehouse 12. Yeah. We're not going to see it. I will say too, we see a tiny bit of Warehouse. Which is it in Constantinople? Saul?
Yes.
You had the line.
Oh.
Warehouse 7?
Where's 9?
Warehouse 9. We'll see a little bit of Warehouse 9, a piece of it. I think that we talk about a couple of others, but those are the ones we see. It's expensive. But thank you. Yes, no, we want to always keep our mythology alive. We're always trying to do that. So this is it's a Fez again, right? I'm liking the Fez look. I may have to go get a Fez.
We have a Fez, an artifact in season.
Actually, there's a Fez coming up in an episode. Episode 7 is.
Pair of Fezes.
Yeah. You're running a Fez crossover. Yes.
Oh, this question is for Neil and Allison. Neil has a relationship. Well, it seems like he had a relationship with Allison, but it seems like he's also having a relationship with Felicia Day.
It's Neil. Allow me to correct you. Our characters had a relationship. Fargo had a relationship with Claudia. Fargo now has a relationship with Holly. Is that her character's name? For the significant others potentially watching this online and in the audience.
What's the problem?
Your question being?
Well, I don't know if Claudia knows about Holly.
No. Fargo's
Fargo's just a whore.
Yeah. I told you we'd be giving it to you, Neil.
Wait, what? Technically, actually, it's really the Fargo Holly thing is a triangle with Dr. Parrish, played by Will Wheaton. So, I mean, it's just sort of there's just a bunch of weird.
You're having a relationship with Dr. Parrish?
It was not really good.
Fargo's the first bisexual character on Sci-Fi.
Anyway, yeah. So there was a question.
You sure you want to end on that one? That's the last question you want to take?
Yeah, maybe we should do. Wait, did you actually get to ask a question?
Will Claudia actually have a relationship with Douglas Fargo? Or
You know what? There was no room for that this season. Claudia's responsibilities have increased so much as a warehouse agent. Going out in the field with Steve Jenks, building her own tools to use as an agent, and also taking time for herself.
Lies.
It's hard. It's hard to work relationships into our show. We tried it last year. We tried to do some relationship things going on, and it was just, you know, we just don't have the time. We don't have the real estate on the show. There's so many our guys are always out in the field, you know, and so if you have to spend time in the town of Underville, South Dakota to have a relationship, it takes so much time away from going out into the field. So it's become it's a show. We're a thriller comedy. We do action, adventure, comedy, drama, but we're not really much on romance and relationships. So, but I think we'll every once in a while we'll tap on something, and somebody will have something fun to do.
Yeah.
You know, why not? Kurt Smoller might be back. Who knows?
Woo.
All right, well, okay, so one more?
We have time for one more.
Ooh.
Yay! You squeezed in, man.
Just barely. No pressure. No pressure.
I was just going to ask, since you said there was going to be a Eureka and Warehouse 13 crossover, is that going to explain anything more about the interaction of technology and the artifacts and where artifacts fall in that?
Yes, absolutely. I think what sets off the action for the whole episode is Fargo tampering with an artifact that he didn't know was an artifact and integrating that into his own global dynamics technology, which hilarity ensues.
My favorite line in that episode was off camera. Your entrance into the B story. I think it's just like, he did what? I'll kill him.
All right, well, yeah, cool. So, Warehouse 13.